So today I'm with Natasha K. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell people why they need to know you and they should be following you.
Why should you follow me? Well, I mean, I came here initially after my stint with the DNC on the Biden Harris campaign, Harris Walls campaigns, because I was pissed off at what I had witnessed the entire time I was on the campaign. I saw a lot of balls being dropped, a lot of blame being shifted to people who shouldn't be taking blame, a lot of things that the DNC has done wrong and refuses to let out in their autopsy report. And so, really, I was pissed off about that and not getting any justice. Nobody got any justice. And now, we're living through complete injustice. And I wanted to say my piece and speak the truth because a lot of people on the campaign were sort of threatened with silence. And I don't
Ugh.
really give a fuck because it needs to be said. And we need to start holding people accountable. And if they don't want to do it, then I mean, I guess it's going to be up to us. So that's why you should follow me
Yes.
because I speak the truth. I am tired of the bullshit. I don't take shit. I stand up for what I feel is right and for the rights of humans. And I'm just trying to push news as much as I possibly can to, explain what's going on in politics locally here in Delaware, because there are a lot of things kind of in the motions that are going to affect things federally, but also to talk about world news and life in general as we try to fight fascism. So,
Ah,
um,
I'm so with you. I'm so with you on that. Thank you so much for that. And I'm seeing all these wonderful people coming in the chats. Make sure you hit the hearts, everybody. Thank you. There it is. There's Margaret and Devon Westlery and Beth. Oh, thank you guys for being here. And yes, I want to say, I mean, what I found, I think the main thing I found with being in Substack is just we're surrounded by so many brilliant people, right? There's so many brilliant
yeah,
people. But when you
yes.
turn on the news, it's always incompetent, unaccomplished people who are talking. And
Right.
yeah, and I've been reaching out to a lot of these progressive candidates, and I think I'm feeling more empowered because of this. And I
Mhm.
talked to like Emily Berge the other day, and she made the comment. She's like, "I'm not going to go be a kiss the ring Democrat." And I think that's exactly. I think you probably that science probably triggered some things from you. But just this idea of regular people talking to our representatives and tell us like, look, just knock off the bullshit. We know all that stuff you're saying is bullshit. Just quit saying the bullshit. We're not stupid people. We're not going to buy it anymore. We're not, part of the problem because we're giving constructive criticism how to actually win some elections. And so I feel like we're chipping away at that stronghold that they have. But I'll let you give some responses to what I just said.
I so I don't have the answer, but I feel like I do. I just don't know how to start. But my thing is that I just feel like it's going to take too much time to primary every single centrist. I'm going to call them Republicans, like they are the
Yeah.
Republicans of the '80s, to primary every single one and just root out all of, like I feel like that's going to take too long. And also, we see that a two-party system just is not sustainable anymore. It's just not. And going into the future, I don't know, like if you think about 20 years into the future, can you imagine our kids only having Democrats and Republicans to choose from? It's not going to be like that anymore because it's not going to sustain. So we have to start building something new. And whether or not we can, pull a viable candidate out of that and start, whatever the process may be, it doesn't matter because it still has to be done. We still need more than two choices. We progressives now don't have anybody representing us. We don't have any
Correct.
representation. And we are the majority because we are all seeing the atrocities that are occurring right now in this country. And we don't have representation. We have people in the party who are representing us, but they're not allowed to talk or lead, and
Yes.
they're being oppressed and they're being held back. And so those Democrats don't deserve this either. They're being done, you know,
Yes. Yes.
an injustice by remaining here with these people who aren't letting them do what they need to do. So that's my thought, is that I just feel like we have to start doing that, but also we have to start taking care of like the election system right now and focusing on how we're going to make sure that it's not rigged. How are we going to start
Yeah.
auditing or taking a look at the machines and the mechanics and all of the in-person ballot counting and how all of these processes are going to work at a local level, because really that's the only thing that we can do right now in order to make sure that we have elections free and fair going forward.
I absolutely agree, and there's so many things to respond to there. We'll get to the third party stuff in a minute. I think that's really important. Right now, one of my biggest concerns is the fact that the media is so controlled by just right-wing sensibility, and my concern is the degree to which they've been able to indoctrinate the general public. I'm fearful that there are 70 million people in the United States of America who, even if they showed all the videos of powerful men raping children, they would still vote for that party. I mean, we've been acting on this assumption that's like, oh, once we have the proof of what these horrible crimes, if these men are child rapists, they'll turn against them. And I think it's dangerous to make that assumption. I don't think our country I don't think we have a population that will stand up or feels empowered to stand up. So first, we have to just insert ourselves into the media a little bit more. And we've seen that the Republicans use it. Well, they steal. I mean, the Pentagon hasn't passed an audit in 7 years. I think those billions of dollars get funneled to hate mongers like Charlie Kirk and all these other, and Joe Rogan, frankly, that fucking guy who is completely incompetent. All he does is sow the seeds of discord, tell lies. He has no achievements to his name. And then he gets these monsters elected. But there's no response from the left. It's like we really need every time Nancy Pelosi, who has spent her time in office enriching herself, asks me for $5, it should be, look, you need to pay me because I'm going out there, spreading the message. And I think I've actually said this to a couple of candidates, and like I talked to, and it was wonderful. The other day I talked to Francesca Hong, and I think that was last week. Seemed like a million years ago, but
that.
oh, that was like last week. It seemed like a million years ago, but she was like, she's open to this. And it's like, yes, but if you are talking to me, and if people like Fetterman talk to me, and if Kinzinger talks to me, and all these people, if they talk to a regular person like me, I'm not going to sit there and let them get away with the same old media bullshit that they've allowed to indoctrinate the whole population of the United States. So there's that aspect of it. I think if we apply that pressure, and we also just tell our Democratic candidates, because there's a lot of progressives running, come on to Substack, please. Come on here. You can, in the comfort of your home on your phone, talk to people like me, reach an audience of potentially 20,000 people. Do this all the time. We got to overflow. We got to flood the zone with this positive, rational messaging. I think that's a big part of it. It's not the complete totality of it. But yeah, third party is also a part of it. We'll get to that. But what are your thoughts there, Natasha?
I think I completely agree with that. I think that we definitely have to flood the zone with all of the truth and all of the information and all of the bullshit that they try to project onto us. It needs to be combated, whether it's reposting something that they incorrectly said and somebody's checking them, or whatever it is. The bullshit that you see on social media, my God, the Facebook groups. I don't know if you guys are in any of the local Facebook groups, and they are the worst, just the worst. And I can't help it. It's like people going on to X. I don't use X. People going on to X and just, you're being fed to the wolves. That's what I put myself into, but I can't help it because the comments are just so uneducated. Like, they said, what genocide are you talking about? You're delusional leftist indoctrination that we were, that indigenous people were here thousands of years before it was colonized. And they were genocided. That's indoctrination. That's fake. That's like, I can't let that stuff sit. So, it's pushing back on family and friends and anybody that's spreading lies and trying to amplify people that are in your community, maybe people that, like you said, these people, progressives running for whatever office. Just giving them a platform so that more people know about them, so that more people can donate to their campaigns, because the local elections right now and government level stuff is actually what's going to safeguard things.
Absolutely. So. And it's so infuriating when some Democratic candidate asks us for donations and then they go spend it on some right-wing platform on advertisement that's going to be buried. It's like, you guys, do you not know that most of these social media platforms bury our rational left-wing content? They don't show it to anybody. And so they're taking our money and using it, and they're essentially enriching oligarchs. I mean, this makes no sense. And I try to talk to him. I try to get through to him like that. But I mean, so many of these guys like Schumer, and that guy, I mean, he's been, silver spoon Democrats, I call them. These fucking people, they have their personal chef, they had a personal driver to take them to private school, and they never had to deal with a bully. You've had to deal with a bully. I know it. I've had to deal with bullies.
Right.
You don't deal with bullies by sitting next to them on the elliptical and trying to convince yourself that they're not hiding evil. The monstrous people that go and rape children in their spare time, they present themselves as all appropriate, and they dress themselves up nice. We can't, you know, you can't coordinate with them. You can't compromise. You have to oppose them at every turn. And this is what the opposition doesn't understand. And because the Democrats insulate themselves in their echo chambers, the establishment ones, they've allowed themselves to fall in this delusional mindset where they think, oh, we can still compromise, we can work together. And it's only these progressives. But yeah, the more progressives that start coming on the subside. So everybody in the chat, have them come and talk with Natasha. Have them come and talk with me. I had somebody do that just the other day. A congressional candidate in Wisconsin reached out to me and said, one of my readers said I should come and talk to you. Awesome. So we're getting that set up this week. The more it goes, they'll come on to me. We'll all rise together. They'll share it. They'll take the sound clips. They'll share with their groups. But more importantly, our arguments will get through. Exactly. And I'm sure to tell every single one of them. It's like, you need to educate the population and make everybody in America know that if you cross the U.S. border, you have not committed a crime. You can apply for asylum within 1 year. That being undocumented is not being illegal. It's not being criminal. And we need to let everybody know that. And that's just one of the other things I've been asking them is like, what guarantee do we have that these ICE detainment centers, they're not torturing and raping children? I want to guarantee that's not happening. We'll make it happen. And once they start having these talking points, there's Nick Hunnick, we start seeing change because it just becomes more and more part of the national debate. Go ahead, Natasha.
One thing that just hit that you reminded me of, I don't know if you have heard of or listened to, Zerlina Maxwell. She's on Sirius XM Progress, and I love her. But she talked about this morning how she feels like we should maybe stop reframing or saying the word undocumented because it makes it sound like something wrong. Instead say, stop saying they're kidnapping undocumented people and instead say they're kidnapping people who didn't have their papers on them. They're kidnapping people who didn't have their passports on them to prove that they were a citizen. Yeah. That makes it sound, I feel like it hits a little more. And so it's also about reframing the things that we are saying into a way that, it's going to morph into, having to communicate and put out these messages in different ways. So
yes,
there's just so many facets and levels to it,
That's absolutely true. Yeah. And just calling it kidnapping people, there are people that they're kidnapping a lot of U.S. citizens. And they're, somebody lost her hand at that protest in Minneapolis and people have been executed. So, yeah. But I always say too, like with immigrants, they talk about immigration and like, well, we need to secure our borders. Like, well, maybe a good way to secure our borders would be to not, overthrow South American governments and kidnap their leaders and murder 110 people. Maybe if we didn't go, because we can't even govern the United States, perhaps if we didn't go fuck up South American countries and destroy their ability to govern themselves, nobody would have to end up migrating just to find food. Or maybe they wouldn't have to come here to escape the pedophile islands of rich predators, like little kids.
Exactly.
Maybe that won't have to happen either. So I think that's another powerful way to reframe. But you're absolutely right. Reframing these articles and just emphasizing the humanity of all people, how we need to stand up and help people.
Right. Because, really deep down, we are just people all struggling, all hurting, all fearful, whether it's fear rooted in supremacy or fear rooted in the opposite, being somebody that's going to be targeted. We all have the same feelings and, we're all being strung along by these fucking billionaires and these corporations that are literally causing all of this.
Yes. Yes.
Then like you said, if we didn't support militias and arm people with weapons in countries so that they had to flee their countries, maybe we wouldn't have as many immigrants, if there was just more peace and we weren't contributing to the violence and the torture. But, that's America. So
You're right. Yeah. Somebody said I was coming in screechy. It's probably just me getting all excited. So I'll try to not be so screechy. But I think too, I mean, I want to do talk about this idea of a third party as because it's come up a lot and I've spent a lot of time thinking about it. And I think it would be really important. The idea I've come up to is that there's a lot of places in the United States where the Democrats just abandon the people. They don't offer any alternative. They don't run anybody. And so I think because the fear of the third party is then you take the liberal vote, you divide it, you guarantee a
Right.
Republican win. But there are plenty of states in the United States where Republicans have indoctrinated the population to the extent where having a Democrat running is just a non-starter. And I've already heard people say that if you just run as independent, you just say, "Hey, I think go out there and say I think both parties are corrupt. I'm an independent. Screw those guys." There are people in red states that will elect you. Now, how do we, what do we do? How do we build that? How do we have some organization? I mean, there's a couple parties that are kind of out there, but I mean, libertarians are just, as far as I'm concerned, they're just too cowardly to admit they're Republicans. It doesn't seem like maybe I'm wrong about that, but it seems like every time I've heard somebody start telling how they're a libertarian, they never kind of go into, oh, let's have universal health care. I mean, it never ends up there. So I think just independent, I mean, it could just start with independent people just saying, "Hey, I'm going to run for something. I'm just going to be an alternative to what's here." There have been some stories that are suppressed because our media suppresses everything. But stories of those people are just like, "Hey, I'm independent." A friend of mine did that for just a small local election in the state of Wisconsin. And of course, her opponent was a Republican. And he's like, "Well, she's not saying she's a Democrat, but she's clearly a Democrat." This is one of those elections that came down to like 200 people, and the guy claimed election fraud. I mean, he did the entire Republican election stealing handbook, which is another thing we just need to say. They blatantly cheat always. They cheated last time. They cheat. It's like, I just wrote an article about this. Give ourselves permission to say Republicans cheat at everything they do. They always cheat. And us not being like them means we don't sit and allow them to get away with it anymore. It doesn't mean we don't call them out. But yeah, I think independent. Hi, Kat. She says she's independent and do want to run. Just do it. I think that's a viable starting,
Yes.
and then we'll gain momentum.
No, run for something. But that's the part that I'm not an expert in. So it's like, where do we start? Because we do have great parties like, who was it in the chat? Somebody, Francis mentioned the Working Families Party. I love the Working Families Party. And so far, I feel like that is actually what aligns more with what I stand for. I changed my party affiliation from Democrat to unaffiliated a couple months ago because I said, fuck it, They don't want to take accountability for anything. They don't want to admit their wrongs. They're literally working with these people and acting against us. I'm not going to be a part of that anymore. I don't know where I need to be, but I know it's not with either of these parties right now because I'm too progressive, I'm too radical, and there's nobody to support me. But the Working Families Party is a viable party. And, these are things that we can build on. There's the Democratic Socialists, all kinds of parties to look into. So I don't know if it's just running independent. I don't know if it's trying to build one of those up to make it more viable and bring the progressive Democrats from the establishment that are stuck over to ours, because I just really feel like now's the time for some sort of revolution, some reform. Like, I was talking to Lisa the other night, and I was listening to her live, and she said that she kind of, in essence, feels like we had to get to this point
Yeah.
in order
Yeah.
to move forward. Everything just had to burn down. And that's exactly what I said about the DNC. Literally, the second the election was called, because I
Yeah.
was pissed. And I said, this party needs to burn. But you know what? I think, honestly, this country is just so indoctrinated that we just
Yeah.
have to hit rock bottom in order to build ourselves up. And now's the time to do it, whatever that may be. So,
Yes. Let me just say, a couple of people said my mic was really loud, so I did try to turn it down a little bit. I'll try not to scream so much, but I get excited. And thank you, Natasha, for helping me get all riled up about these things because they're important. And I hadn't heard about the Working Families Party before. if you know people that are involved in that, they want to come and
Oh,
talk, have them
I
come
think
and talk.
Zoran. I think wasn't Zoran part of the Working Families
Is he
Party?
part of that? Okay.
Was he endorsed by them? I don't recall, but there's a lot of I think Adelita Grijalva might have been Working Families, but there's some some well-known progressives that
Yeah.
were endorsed by the party. Um,
Perfect.
so they're gaining traction now.
Yes. Well, I think there's just, it's not just one thing. And one of the things that comes to my mind too, I mean, we just saw that election in Texas, where I think it was a state senate seat that had been won, carried by the president, switched 30 some points the other way. And so what we're going to see a lot of is we're going to see a lot of white voters doing the right thing, but for the wrong reason, you know, because there's just a lot of voters that just sit around and they're just like, well, I don't like this either, and they don't fully understand what they're doing, and they are the ones. Is it better now? Is the sound a little bit better? I don't know, but they're going to do that. And what we need to do, those of us who are a little bit more active, we need to really take advantage of this moment, and we can't settle, and we can't allow, because we're going to get all this pressure from both the Democrats and the Republicans to have unity again at some point. We do, like you said before, the word is accountability. Accountability is what we have to push forward. And just this nonsense that's going on. I mean, the continued, I've been talking to the people I've been talking to. It's like, if you are working with somebody who is facing credible charges of raping a child, uh, do you then work with that person, or do you oppose everything that they do? And it's just this absurdity, because they always bury, this larger narrative, and we just always get pushed into this kind of cyclical. We all get pushed into that same echo chamber. We feel all this pressure from both sides if we start demanding the things we actually should have. But like you said, everybody is fed up and they want this to change. And we've seen, I mean, just the way the Democrats capitulated, and then they turned around and blamed the voters, even though they don't do anything to defend voting rights. Another thing I've been trying to ask candidates is just saying, look, you demand a recount. I mean, win or lose, just to find, like, set aside money from the beginning to demand that recount so that we are sure of election integrity, and just make that normal. And bit by bit, I mean, what starts as fringe speak on places, because we're kind of fringe here, Natasha, but we can make it the
Unfortunately, yeah,
mainstream. Yeah, but we can push and make it mainstream, but keep doing it. Go ahead.
yeah. No, I totally agree with that. I think that those are the things right now that Democrats aren't talking about. And I think this is something else Earlina might have brought up. Somebody brought it up, that we're not talking enough about what is going on the back end with the elections. And, there's just so many facets to everything and so many revolving things. But that has to be first and foremost, because yes, we are talking about, do you really think there are going to be free and fair elections? No, obviously, because they've been
Yeah.
interfered with for the past 10 years at least.
Yeah.
But
Other
then,
than
like,
that,
there's no talk about what we're gonna do about it, and
yeah.
we don't have much time, so we need people that are going to do those things. And I feel like, Kat, you said you're running and you don't think people are going to vote for you, but you still have to do it. You can still
Yeah.
push points in the right direction. You can move things in the right direction. Even if you don't make it, you're still going to make progress because you're putting yourself out there. And so if anybody can fucking run for something, runforsomething.net gives you tools to help you with that. But literally, we just need people who are progressive, who really care about human rights in office right now. And like, we got to figure this shit out.
Absolutely. And I always say, people, don't be results oriented. I mean, the people are like, wait till the midterms. No, today, do something today. And it's like, and then if you do something and it doesn't achieve anything, now you've learned and you can change your approach. But people are like instantly like, don't be looking for this quick fix. This is a bad, this is for the rest of our lives. Advocating so that all children can get through life without being raped by some billionaire monster. That's our job. That's never going to go away. We have to do that every day of our life, every second of our life, with every breath we take. So just act. And yeah, it's like, run for office. And with the idea of just getting on the debate stage and then talk to me and I'll talk to, hey, try these arguments. And then those arguments will be seen to a wide audience. And that's why I've been interviewing every single candidate who comes to me. Talk to me. If you guys get on a debate stage with these guys, say these points, say these things. Don't do the same bullshit, soft Democratic messaging. I mean, I thought in the debate, Kamala did a wonderful job against that asshole. But if she'd have just pushed a little harder, if she could have pushed him into narcissistic collapse in front of the whole country, but then like that pressure and all of her bullshit consultants like James Carville, who is just despicable and deplorable, they come in there just like, no, 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 because they're not concerned with actually promoting any progressive agenda or listening to people. They want to retain their power first and foremost. Yeah. So yeah, just get out there and speak and say those words and make it so they can't ignore them. Have the courage to speak.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I know you got a lot to say, so go ahead. Keep going.
I do.
Get riled up.
I mean, I feel like that's a thing that pisses me off is just seeing how, you know, this is just my own personal like view. Okay, this is just me. I saw how, I guess, like realized how capable I was, I should say, while working on the campaign. I've always had imposter syndrome, always. But working with the DNC and like honestly dealing with the worst racism I've ever dealt with in my entire life, at any role I've worked in. And again, I've had like so many amazing colleagues that I had and allies, and those people are all great, but it was also a horrible experience in some sense. And so to see now, because I was kind of in a bubble, you know, oddly, I wasn't paying attention or keeping up to what was happening with the news as I was inside. And I thought it would be the complete opposite. I thought I would know everything that was going on, but you're stuck in, you know, I'm in tech and IT, and I'm the one that has to onboard every single person that comes to work on the campaign. So I'm busy. And I don't have time to figure out what's going on in the news. I just know that I'm trying to fucking get her elected, you know? And so to see people like James Carville and all of these fucking centrist, it's bullshit. The amount of money that they're paid, you know, they're treated as like VIPs. And you just fucking helped get Donald Trump elected. That's what it felt like, was internal sabotage from a lot of angles. And that's just my personal feeling.
Yeah.
That's how it felt. I think that's part of the reason why, a lot of the reason why they won't release the autopsy or talk about it. A lot of things went wrong that I can personally attest to.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that it's important that these things be talked about so that they can do better, because we expect them to do better because they're supposed to be the party of the people, but they're not. So I feel like, a lot of my MO right now is just explaining to people that the establishment as it exists right now does not care about us. They are not for us. They are actively working against us. They are voting in favor of funding ICE. They have allowed all of these appointments to go through without any fucking anything.
Yeah.
The beginning of this regime. They have allowed all of this to happen. So to now expect them to do something, to speak up, to me, it pisses me off, because I've seen it and I saw that they don't care. And now I see on the outside, okay, they really don't care. I wasn't losing my fucking mind. These people didn't give a shit about getting her elected. And now we're here. And it seems like they still don't give a shit. So that's why I'm like, forget about them. Don't even give them press. Don't even talk about them. Act like they don't fucking exist.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to do, but it's like, stop giving them any type of platform and just move on. Like, we have to just start building something and move on. They're not with us. They're against us. They're back there. Just leave them in the dust. Let it burn. And let's move on. That's what I feel, but I don't know how to start it. So,
I think you're starting right now. Just speak your truth and give yourself that permission. Holy shit. And I've seen in this last year how much it's changed for me, because as we were saying before, it's like I used to just be screaming at the TV thinking I was all by myself. And now we have Substack and we can talk, and it's like, geez, you think just the way I do, I guess. And then we can reinforce our own power and keep moving forward. And yeah, the way the DNC just pivoted. Well, America's not ready for a black woman. It's like you assholes didn't even verify that every vote was counted. And they blame the voters every time. Oh, the voters, see, if you don't listen to us, if you don't comply with what we say and what we say is right, this is what you get. And it's like, we did vote for you. We did everything for you. We gave you all the power in 2020. You had Congress, you had the presidency, you could have stopped us and you failed. And every chance that the Democrats get, they blame us. And you need to hold them accountable for that. And that's why a lot of my activism, I don't even think about the Republicans anymore because they're just child rapist enablers. Right. I don't even talk to them. But the pressure needs to be on the Democrats. And what you said before, too, you said the word, that imposter syndrome. And here I am at 50, I'd spent my whole life writing, getting things placed here and there, but it's always like, well, you're not very good. You can't get the big contract because you're not very good. And at some point, you're just like, well, what the hell? How come I get this one article gets shared 250,000 times? How can I get all these followers if I'm more good? And it's just like imposter syndrome. The concept of it is a white supremacy tactic. They make us all feel like we're worthless and like our thoughts don't matter and what we see and observe isn't true, so that they have that power. So that's another thing they have to overcome. We have all the wonderful people in this chat that are overcoming that. And it's just like, we have to just wake up and recognize, like, anytime you've been in an abusive relationship, the first time they hurt you, you're just like, well, that was an accident. You have a justification for that, right? And it's just like sequence after abuse after abuse. It takes a long time to finally awaken to that realization that you were with a piece of shit human being who was deliberately hurting you. And once you achieve that realization, you are now empowered to come into your own autonomy and get the things you deserve. So we're seeing that awakening on a cultural and on a national scale. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be there's not one answer. It's not like Winston will have a third party. I think third party candidates should be running. That'd be great. The more we can interview progressives, that would be great. The more we stop giving money to the DNC, that would be great. So there's all these things. And just the more we just speak our truth and we don't let people say to us, well, you're part of the problem. It's vote blue no matter who, even though they don't vote blue when we give them primary candidates that we like. So once we start unpacking all that,
we need a new color too. Make it something
rainbow.
Like a rainbow. Yes.
Yeah.
Something colorful is right up my alley. Like, let's just do it and go for it. But yeah, that imposter syndrome made me feel.
Yes.
I always my whole life questioned myself, and working there was the first time I finally realized I know what the fuck I'm doing, and I know what the fuck I'm seeing. And I actually, I came into myself at 40 something years old for the first time. And it put a fire in me, just like when I first woke up during the first regime. I wasn't political at the time, but watching Elizabeth Warren and just seeing atrocities that were happening to people around me, and physically going to detention centers to assist asylum seekers who were seeking, being deported and things like that. I saw it with my own eyes, and I was very angry about it. And the fact that we have people who worse, I felt like, against our interests and helped get him elected again and put us here, shows me how much more competent I am and how much more credit I should have given myself. Because to see people like Hakeem Jeffries up there, nobody triggers me more than Hakeem Jeffries and Stephen A. Smith. But Hakeem Jeffries, man,
Stephen Smith.
Oh my God, don't get me started on Stephen. Go the fuck away. Away. Stay in your lane, please. That's where you belong. But anyway, people like them, it's just like, okay, I know what I'm talking about, and I'm right, and people agree with me, and I am doing the right thing, and I being kind and speaking up is the right thing to do. And I saw that I had a large group of people that were with me, as a lot of us suffered through some of these things on the campaign, racism, discrimination, sexism, all those things. So maybe this is the way we start. Just talking about it and getting people to realize that there are other parties that already exist,
Yeah.
but some sort of third party, like something larger than independent, like has to start forming, like we have to start building. And I feel
Yeah.
like we can do it because we are the majority of Americans. And so it feels like it shouldn't be hard, but obviously easier said than done. But we
Yeah.
have the tools. We know what needs to be done. We know that people are seeking truth now more than ever. And this is a time to capitalize on that.
Yeah. And I keep telling people too, it's like no office is too small, you know. School boards, I think. I think this
School
fight
boards?
is holy shit, that's an important one.
Fuck
Yeah.
yeah. So I've got, Trumpers on my school board. And because I look up their voting history, of course. And, naturally they're not talking about or, you know,
Yeah.
being proactive about ICE. And so I started the communication last week, but it's not going to be the end because their response was obviously less than,
Yeah. Yeah.
stellar.
Yeah.
Basically, we have an emergency response plan that we implemented January of 25. Okay, so that doesn't include in case of a government takeover then. You might need to revise that. You might want to start, since the majority of our school district is brown kids, Indian kids, black kids, African kids, you might want to start putting out communications to let people know that, this might be a thing or is going to be a thing. And we need to start preparing and keeping them safe, but they don't want to talk about it. I was basically given that's very admirable of you to be so thoughtful and want to care, but we don't really, our goal is to educate, and that's it. And so did we lose Walter? Can you guys hear me? Oh dear. Can y'all let me know if you can hear me? Oh, you're still here. Okay. What? Can everybody hear me? Okay. I can't hear you. I can't hear. Okay. I'll stay on for a second. I'm sorry, guys. Technical difficulties, but we will be back. Oh, I hear something.
Heck,
I hear you.
you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Well, I'll just leave it like this. My stupid camera. I hope the static. See, that was somebody mentioned in the chat that I was getting some static in the hopefully it sounds better now. Can you guys
Yeah.
hear static? It says it
It
here's better.
sounds better.
I just won't touch these cables anymore. But yeah, let's just continue on. Yeah. And I want to emphasize too, like the Democrats, they had those Epstein files a long time, you know, and I think
Mhm.
something also that we need to talk about. I mean, yeah, the argument is there was an ongoing investigation, so that they said the files were sealed. But come on.
I
You know that they were a bunch of, they're complicit. About half the DNC is complicit with that. Okay, they say it sounds better, so good. Go ahead.
Yeah. I agree. I think my personal feeling is that they uh not that it's any justification, but that they were complicit in that they were too scared. They didn't want to rumble things because you know how they just don't want to like rock the boat. Like, let's just be safe. Let's just be, careful. Like, we're not going to bring this up now. Let's just, try to make things smooth for the transition. Like, we have an election coming up and, or we just don't want to do anything about it because that's just what they do as well. So, I don't know, but that's what I feel like it was. Even
Ah,
though
no,
I'm sure there's Democrats that are implicated and guilty of probably God knows what. I don't care who it is, but you know,
Yeah. Maybe what we need to do is just not give them the benefit of the doubt and say, "Listen, it's like, we think you're guilty, prove that you're not guilty." It's like if they got all
exactly.
this power, and because we give them, and we've been kind of groomed and indoctrinated to just be like, "Okay, they know better." It's like, "Look at where we're at. You guys suck. Everything the only thing you have experience with is losing and letting fascists take power and having our healthcare go out of control." So we need to start pushing. Yeah, I think just but a lot of it just starts with giving ourselves permission to just, like, go after Democrats the way they kinda deserve to be gone after right now.
They deserve it, and I hear Waj talking all the time about, Republican light, or Republicans, I don't know what he calls them, but the group of or Democrats that always the blue dots or something. Like, I personally don't see that, but I'm also not on all of those corners of the internet, so I don't know what other people are saying except for, crazy people on Facebook or, like, straight progressives. I've had a couple people. I actually did have somebody reach out to me on TikTok and say that it sounded like I was trying to push people. People might think you're
Yeah.
trying to make them Republican. It made me think for a second, like, wait a minute, no.
Yeah.
How does this sound Republican? Like, what are you talking about? I'm black. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like you know, um,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
The extent of those dishonest arguments we have to be aware of too, the level of just bots and it's not just the right wing, the extreme right wing bots. There are Democrat enabling bots, like corporate Democrat bots too, that make these just bizarre. You detect them after a while. It's like that's AI because that argument makes absolutely no sense. Like just persistence of this idea that we're not allowed to just demand recounts. It's like the
Yeah.
law is in place. We can demand a recount whenever we want. We just have to pay for it. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with that. And this idea, like, I had this guy just today, and it's like, he was like, well, Americans voted for insurrectionists. It's like, no. It's like, I think there was interference in the election. I know there was. There were bomb calls. There were bomb threats called in.
Bomb
So
threats.
we know
Hmm.
that there was interference. And this guy's like, well, there's been no credible investigations. And it's like, that that proves that we need credible investigations. You can't then jump to this idea that it didn't happen because we didn't investigate it. And just like
Right.
that way that people think, where they're just like, you're not allowed to say this. I think we need to investigate the Pennsylvania assassination attempt because I don't think that was true either. And I think
I
it's okay to ask questions about these things. I'm not a person who is like a conspiracy theorist because we've
no,
never investigated it. You're only
exactly. So
conspiracy when it's been disproven. It hasn't been disproven.
right. And they refuse to talk about it. So we only have our own minds and thoughts and research to go off of if you're not saying anything about it.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, just I really feel, and I guess it's my bias, but just having these conversations is so important. And the more pressure we can put on other politicians and just tell them, I mean, number one, always the most important thing right now, where you're spending your money. Because if we all
Yeah.
just collectively come together and look, I mean, look at the people that are supporting Schumer too. Don't buy any of their products. Like, just completely take it away and
Hmm.
deliberately pressure those candidates to come and talk to me or Natasha. All of you people out there, if you're sending those emails, if you when you unsubscribe from Adam Kinzinger, leave a message because they notice that all the unsubscribes. Why are you no longer paying for me? Because you didn't go talk to Walter or because you didn't go talk to Natasha.
Yeah.
We can make ourselves heard by doing this. And we have to
Yeah.
make that the new normal because if the Democrats stop opposing the independent press and embrace it, I mean, it's a threat to their corporate echo chamber, but it allows the people to actually influence our representatives, which is what we need.
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And they just they just need to go. We just need to take everything that we can from them. They are complicit in siphoning money and allowing billionaires and corporate interests to take control of our country. They're all complicit. It's just pure incompetence and also greed and racism and supremacy just all rolled into one. And that's why things are just the way that they are. They're just so corrupt. And, we're sold this American dream. And really, the whole entire thing was a lie. The
Yes.
whole entire thing. And that's why if people aren't willing to reckon with that, it's just time to take it down. I don't support them. I don't know why all of a sudden it's funny because it's like I can't stand Hakeem Jeffries more and more every day. Like
Yeah.
my disdain for that man and how much he triggers me, his voice. I can't. But why am I all of a sudden getting text messages to vote to send money to his campaign? Like, first of all, I've never in my life donated to him. And why am I now? It's like a slap in the face. And I feel like they are purposely slapping us in the face. They know they aren't doing what they're supposed to do. They stand up there and, talk shit and, this is wrong and, we need better and healthcare is blah, blah, blah. And it's like, hello, we're like, people are getting killed.
Yes.
Fuck the healthcare right now. People are getting killed. Can we abolish ICE? You can't say abolish ICE. No, you just want to add legislation to make things safer so that they can kidnap you and be safer about it. I mean, what is this? Let's be real. You know what I mean? People are dying and I don't give a fuck about the fact that we can't afford healthcare. Everybody's going to be in the fucking hospital.
Yes.
With wounds and fucking and shortages of nurses because hospitals are closing down. This country is about to fucking bite its own nose.
Yeah.
The whole country.
Yes. And it's so offensive when Jeffries thinks he's talking tough by talking about body cams and shit. And it's just sort of like, we need to make this the public, the conversation, the national conversation has to be the fact that there are numbers out there that ICE has apparently detained like 70,000 people, that they are in deplorable concentration camps throughout the whole United States. It's like, look, we need those assurances that children aren't being tortured and raped and just abused and murdered in these detention centers. They have to be open, Let's make that. And it's the fact that our representatives are reluctant to even ask these questions. There was that child, the 5-year-old child, Liam Ramos. He just got released, apparently, so he's doing better, but it's just sort of like, we need that activism. How many thousands more 5-year-old kids are currently being tortured to death by ICE in detention centers? We need assurances from the government that's not happening. These are reasonable questions to ask.
Yes, they
completely
are.
reasonable. And the fact that our representatives aren't asking that is deplorable. Ask it every time. And it's like, it's deplorable on a human rights level, but also just like their sheer incompetence. This is just basic political messaging. Fascism is here and it needs to be stopped. Yeah, and then we got assholes like Gavin Newsom who's platforming Steve Bannon on his fucking podcast. It's like, platform rational people, platform fathers and mothers and people like us. Don't talk to white supremacists like all of a sudden that's going to give you some insight into how to win an election. We have to change that. And all the people here have to change that.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't believe in giving fascists and supremacists a platform for anything. I don't think those are people we need to negotiate with or even bother with because they're too far gone. And for Democrats who are doing those types of things, I think that tells you exactly all you need to know is that those Democrats can't be trusted either. And they are also not for us.
Yeah.
I think that, another thing that you touched on is and other things Erlene actually mentioned this morning is why aren't journalists and people asking why children are being detained?
Yeah.
Why are children being imprisoned? Why? We understand that they're, their, excuse is, oh, well, at least we're not separating them. But why are they not being fed correctly? Why are they living a life in prison without education, without school? Why is there not something set up to ethically and morally and humanely house these people until you kick them out?
Yeah.
Why does it have to be so cruel? Why are we, and calling the warehouses that they're buying up? They're not warehouses, they're camps.
Yeah.
We're buying more concentration camps for more labor on our backs.
Yep. And taxpayer dollars are funding it. Your money,
Yep.
your money you're paying. We're all funding this genocide, and white supremacy is an ideology of genocide. It's in the name. They're going to kill everybody that's not white, and you're never white enough for the top guy. There can be only one when it comes to that. They're going to kill all the rest of us. And like just the level of indifference in this country, just the suffering of, it's to the suffering of little kids. And, we've seen, kids getting raped on these islands. They haven't arrested one person. They still try to sit there and claim they don't have evidence to arrest
And they're
one
posting
person.
pictures of them naked.
And they just recently released all the victims'
The
names,
victims, right?
which is sort of like they make all this effort to redact the names of all the abusers, and they just abuse the children again. And then Hakeem Jeffries is talking about body cams. It's like fucking A. Yeah,
Get
at some
right.
point.
Yeah, like you're too far gone. They're too
Yeah.
far gone.
And somebody mentioned Ro, Kiana, and it's like, great. It's like others need to be coming on here all the time. And Aaron Parnas is a good start, but they need to go to all the journalists. And it's like every single second, they got 5 minutes in their car. Come and talk to me. If you want to promote something, they should all be in Minneapolis too. They should all be there documenting what's happening. We're not seeing our representatives going. They're voting on it. They're not going there and watching ICE brutally execute people in the street, but they can get on their plush TV studios and lecture us about how our reaction is out of bounds.
Exactly. That's the
Get
problem.
the
Put Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries in downtown fucking Minneapolis and see if they change their fucking tune a little bit. Maybe not. But you know what I mean? Do something.
Yeah. That's what representative means. You go represent, you go understand what's going on. It's not all just sitting in the country club all day talking to the white supremacists who are wearing their polite, in public face. Yeah, Jesus.
And Elizabeth is saying, yes, we have to contact our state governors, and that's something I need to do myself. But our governors are the last line of defense that we have. So whether or not they're red or blue, fucking overwhelm them. And we have to let them know that we do not stand with this and we want fucking protection in whatever way that may be. Start creating legislation. I just wrote an article about they took an immigrant here in Delaware. He's developmentally disabled, and he's been in detention in PA since September. He can't even. He's so developmentally disabled, and I apologize. I'm not sure if that's the right term, but please correct me, because I want to make sure that I'm treating people with dignity. But he thought that he was on vacation. Because he was getting meals and he got to kick a soccer ball, he thought and thinks being in ICE detention is vacation. That's how much he's not aware of the situation and how much danger he's in. Him and his brother fled from Ecuador in 2021 because they were targeted by gangs there and had been subject to violence and were almost killed. So they've been here doing things the proper way. ICE took him. He's in detention right now. And our governor is writing letters to the judge who essentially is now saying he needs to voluntarily deport. So again, he's here with his brother who takes care of him. But these are the things that our governors locally can do, and we have to amplify these things to get them on national news and make them more aware, because these things, I'm sure this case is not the only case of somebody who's disabled and sent to prison for being brown. I'm sure it's not, because we've got people being sent there who don't have their medication and aren't being given their medication. They're being allowed to die. They're being tortured. They're crushing their testicles. This is a human rights alarm on all levels right now. And so federally, people aren't doing shit, but locally, we do have some power. And that's why it's so important. These school boards, don't let these fucking supremacists infiltrate your city councils. Don't let them have any say in taxes. Don't let them have any say in your schools, because all they are doing is pushing things further back, and it's going to just make things worse. So we have to, if you can, just run. Okay. Even if you feel like there's no chance, just run, because we are pushing the needle. We are so far right now, but we have to make sure that the elections stay integral and that we are making sure that the process is going to be free and fair, and that we don't have ICE in the streets asking people for papers before they go in to vote. Those are the things that we have to worry about right now.
Yes. Perfectly said. Yes, everybody go do things today. Just speak out. I'm going to have to get going. I have that other meeting to do, but oh my gosh, it's been such a delight talking to you. We need to do this
Yes,
more
you too,
often.
Walter.
I really appreciate you
I
enormously.
appreciate you.
We're just getting started, and yeah,
Yeah,
we'll just keep her going. We'll keep her rolling. But all your passion, let everybody. It's very much appreciated, and it is. It's making a huge difference. So tell everybody how
thank
they can
you.
support you real quick, and then we'll let her
Yeah.
go.
Well, everybody follow Walter. He's been so kind to me on Substack and inviting me into this group, and I love his passion. And I just feel like I match it so much. So follow him. But also, please follow me. I am at Truth She Wrote on Substack, and I also have another one. I'm trying to just get 10 free followers so I can start posting lives on there. But it's black, white, and everything that they left out. And it's going to be more focused on personal issues such as race and gender. And still, obviously, politics is always going to be involved. But, I kind of want to make it more personal for, women, trans, whatever topics, femininity, whatever topics that I want to discuss, really. Whereas this will be more political. So please follow me there. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate you all of the kind comments. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Oh, that's excellent. So yeah, let's do it again soon. Thanks everybody for being here. Gosh, I wish I had limitless time once these get rolling, but
I know.
I
All right.
foolishly make my schedule full. But I'll be publishing the replay soon. So yep, we'll see you
All right.
soon.
See you,
Thank you
Walter.
everybody.
Bye,
Bye bye.
everybody.